Chapter 9, New Sith Wars to Darth Bane. The Old Republic survived the chaos of Vitiate, Malgus, and centuries of Sith invasions. But the Sith weren't finished. If anything, they were about to explode again. For 1,000 years, the galaxy descended into non-stop conflict, a nightmare called the New Sith Wars. This age was so brutal that entire civilizations collapsed, and out of the ashes rose a single Sith Lord who decided, you know what? The Sith are doing it all wrong. His name was Darth Bane, and he rewrote the dark side forever. Darth Ruusan sparks the new Sith Wars, approximately 2000 BBY. It all began with a fallen Jedi named Phineas, who turned to the dark side and took the name Darth Ruusan. Ruusan didn't just defect quietly. He declared that the Jedi were liars, that true freedom came through the dark side, and he built an army of followers around himself. His rebellion against the Republic grew and spread, and soon dozens of Sith warlords were carving up the galaxy. This was the spark of the new Sith Wars, 1,000 years of almost non-stop bloodshed between the Jedi and the Sith. The thing about the new Sith Wars is that they weren't just one war. They were dozens of wars, civil wars, inside wars, betrayals stacked on betrayals. The Sith weren't united under one emperor like before. They were fractured into countless armies, each led by its own Dark Lord. One year, they'd be slaughtering Jedi. The next year, they'd be slaughtering each other. The galaxy was stuck in an endless cycle of carnage. By around 1000 BBY, one Sith Lord finally tried to impose order, Lord Kaan. He created what he called the Brotherhood of Darkness. His idea was simple. There would be no single Dark Lord. All Sith would be equals. No master, no apprentice, no betrayal. Just one brotherhood working together. Sounds noble, right? Yeah, it wasn't. Because when everyone is equal, no one is in charge. The Sith became an army of warlords with no clear direction. Kaan preached unity, but in practice it made the Sith weaker, not stronger. The Jedi, by comparison, rallied under a single banner called the Army of Light, led by Jedi Master Hoth. And for the first time in centuries, the Jedi started to push the Sith back. The Rusaan Campaign. The final showdown came on the planet Ruusan. This world became the central battlefield of the new Sith Wars. The Brotherhood of Darkness faced off against the Jedi Army of Light in a war of attrition that dragged on and on. Imagine World War I trench warfare, but with lightsabers, force powers, and Sith sorcery. Both sides were exhausted. Both sides were desperate. And then came the ultimate disaster. Lord Kaan, in an act of madness, unleashed a ritual called the Thought Bomb. He and his Sith performed a massive dark side spell that annihilated both the Sith and the Jedi trapped in its blast. Thousands of Force users were destroyed in an instant, their souls ripped from their bodies and trapped in an eternal storm on Ruusan. The planet itself became a haunted graveyard of screaming spirits. The Thought Bomb obliterated the Brotherhood. Every Sith Lord on Ruusan was gone. Every Jedi who faced them was gone. The only survivor was one man, Darth Bane. Darth Bane, the survivor. Bane had always thought Kayan's Brotherhood was foolish. He believed the Sith's obsession with numbers, with armies, with sharing power, was what had doomed them for centuries. To him, the dark side was about strength, and strength only meant something if it was concentrated. When the Brotherhood destroyed itself, Bane didn't mourn. He saw opportunity. Bane declared a new philosophy, one that would change the galaxy forever: the Rule of Two. From now on, there would only ever be two Sith at a time: a master who embodied power, and an apprentice who craved that power. The master would train the apprentice. The apprentice would one day kill the master. And through this cycle, the Sith would grow stronger with every generation. No more armies, no more factions. Just two. Hidden, patient, working in the shadows until the galaxy forgot about them. And when the time was right, they would strike. The lineage of the Rule of Two. Bane didn't just make up a rule and vanish. He started the line himself. His apprentice was Darth Zana, a master of Sith sorcery who could break minds and conjure nightmares. Zana embodied the dark arts in a way that made her a terrifying heir. After Zana came Darth Cognis, a seer who could predict the future, ensuring the Sith always stayed one step ahead. Then came Darth Millennial, a mutant apprentice who broke away and formed his own dark cult. Proof that even the Rule of Two wasn't immune to Sith ego. Later, we see Sith like Darth Vectivus, who was bizarrely practical. He wasn't a monster or a tyrant. He was a businessman who balanced Sith power with running a mining company. Proof that the Sith weren't all cackling maniacs. Some were cold, calculating pragmatists. Then there were Sith like Darth Gravid, who tried to fuse light side teachings into Sith philosophy and was destroyed by his own apprentice. Darth Gene followed, continuing the line. Each generation refined, betrayed, and perfected the cycle. Every master trained a deadlier apprentice. Every apprentice eventually replaced their master. The legacy of Darth Bane. Darth Bane's vision worked. The Jedi thought the Sith were extinct after Ruusan. They lowered their guard. They rebuilt the Republic, convinced the dark side had been wiped out. But in the shadows, the Rule of Two survived. A secret thread stretching across centuries. That line would eventually lead to Darth Plagueis, Darth Sidious, and Darth Vader. Every victory the Sith ever had in the movies traces back to Darth Bane's decision on Ruusan. So the Sith went underground. No more empires, no more wars in the open. Just a master and an apprentice, whispering in the shadows, waiting for the moment to return. For centuries, they pulled strings from behind the curtain. And in the High Republic era, when the Jedi were at their golden age, the Sith were there, hidden, patient, watching. In the next chapter, we'll see how they stayed invisible, how they passed their legacy from Tenebris to Plagueis, and how their shadow crept closer to the fall of the Republic.